Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us again today. I heard there was a slight glitch on Facebook, so
Yes,
we're broadcasting from here and also on YouTube. Is that correct?
yes, we are live on YouTube, and the Facebook links have been posted on Facebook as well. So we are monitoring both Facebook and YouTube for all comments.
Okay. Thank you very much. You look a little fuzzy. Is that an ominous sign, or is
It
is
will
the
become just
internet overloaded right now?
yes.
Well, welcome, everybody. Welcome back to our program. And today we're going to start off with some focused attention training, because this is one of the most beneficial activities that one can do every day, is to focus the mind. And we'll take you through a guided meditation. This focused attention training is meant to help us direct our attention, because as we've spoken about in previous classes, our main asset is our attention. Where we place our attention will determine which way we're going in life. Where attention goes, energy flows. And the second, unless we're focusing on something and learning how to concentrate the mind, we won't know when our mind's wandering off, because if you don't have a goal, you don't know if you're going towards it or not. And the next is learning how to redirect our focus. This is one of the practices of meditation, and that is bringing the mind back to the object that you've decided on already by deliberation that is the best place to place your attention. Otherwise, we get a constant state of distraction, and distraction is torture. And then finally, to become aware of our awareness. This is one of the aspects that Patanjali speaks about in his Yoga Sutras. And one of the first stages of practice in meditation is learning to become aware of our awareness. We can be aware of our own awareness. We are a unit of awareness, and we are aware. And when we actually learn to be aware that we're aware, then we become happy. This is mentioned in a verse from the Bhagavad Gita that I've stated many times in this class, and in which Krishna says, pratyahara. He says, when you draw your senses back from their objects because you've noticed that they're constantly moving and you're not obligated to grab onto them, and then you become fixed in your own awareness, he says, then you feel tushta, or happiness. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partamanogatan. For the Sanskrit, pratyahara means to pull back. Prajahati, same word, prajahati yada kaman, from what is some commentators have said that this kaman, or a desire, we can't do away with desire. It's the nature of the living experience to have desire. However, where we direct it determines the nature of our existence. And what we want to avoid, according to the meditation process, are unnecessary necessities. In other words, I develop a dependence on certain necessities, quotation marks using the sign of a crab. Unnecessary necessity, but they're actually unnecessary. And they're unlimited. The mind produces them as if coming out on a conveyor belt from a factory, one after another. And these arise from our previous associations with the sense world. So then he says, Prajahati dakaman sarvan parta manogatan. So Partha is the name of the student, and he's speaking to his student, so he's Partha. And he says, Partha manogatan, the mind's constantly going. And so a person who learns to see that and doesn't have to grab everything off the conveyor belt, then atman yevatmana tushta. This is a very important line for those who are interested in doing inner work, and that is atman yevatmana tushta. Tushta again means satisfaction. And what is that born of? It's born of becoming aware, Atman, you're an Atma, you're unit of awareness, Atmanyevatmana, means that the awareness becomes aware of itself. And so Patanjali in his Yoga Sutras calls this the Atma, the Purusha, the person within. The body isn't the person, the mind isn't the person, nor is the buddhi or the intelligence, but the conscious being within is the Purusha or the Atma. And when I become aware of myself, what I'm made of is so entrancing, so attractive that it's actually, to use an old word, rapturous. There's a way in which it's completely satisfying. There's no other object external to that is interesting compared to the Atma, the nature of the Atma. Therefore, there's satisfaction. Atmanyatmanatushta stita pragnastadocite. So the word stita means to be situated in a particular situation. It's cognate in English with the word stand. I understand, or I'm standing here. Stita means that I'm situated in a particular kind of consciousness. Stita prajna tadocide. It is said that a person's fixed in consciousness when he or she is no longer chasing after unnecessary necessities and becomes satisfied in him or herself, being aware of the self. So that takes, according to Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras and Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter on Dhyan Yoga, meditation, it takes practice. And of course, Patanjali says, and this seems intuitive, the more you practice, the more you'll progress. So as David Byrne, a musician, wrote a lyric years ago, I don't know what you expect staring into the TV set. I mean, if you let your mind go, it becomes flabby, just like everything else in our physical or mental body. But if you practice focused attention training, then you'll be able to direct your attention where you want it to go rather than being pulled by it. Become aware when your mind has wandered, redirect your focus and be aware of your awareness. Now, why are we doing this? According to the title of today's presentation, we want to tap into the fourth dimension. So this is called in the Vedas. The Vedas are ancient wisdom literature. So if you don't mind, I'll just call them Vedas for now. Another word for them is Shastra. And just to give you a little history of this, in Sanskrit, it's easy to remember. So Shastra, which was recommended as one of the practices of yoga and meditation, a daily reading of wisdom texts. And you see the word there at the end on the screen here, Shastra. It has several meanings. Sanskrit can be fluffed out. So a shishya is a person who is disciplining him or herself, is taking a teacher and saying, I want to learn something. And then there are two renditions of the word Shastra. So one is Shastra with a long A, and the other one is Shastra. So when they both mean that you're you're submitting yourself to training. But Shastra means you do it voluntarily by reading the wisdom literatures and hearing from a teacher. And Shastra, which is the same root word, means a sword. So the implication is you can do this the easy way or the hard way. So if you learn, and through wisdom, you learn to control your mind and senses, then you avoid the reaction, the karmic reaction that comes from nature. That when you do something against the natural law, and then there's a reaction to it. For instance, if you eat way too much, you're going to suffer. Or if you drive on the wrong side of the road, who are you going to complain to afterwards when the reaction comes? So now the practice, and we'll go into this just now, of focused attention training. We'll start by closing your eyes just for a moment, and we'll just take a few minutes here to practice going inwardly, because it's something that any of us can do at any time under the right circumstances. So please close your eyes and prepare yourself to look inwardly. Straighten your spine. And for a little while, release yourself from all your responsibilities and bring your attention to your breathing. Mentally say in on the inward breaths and out on your exhalations. Take each breath as a gift that you're being given in this moment. You are now walking on a soft golden brown pathway with a tangle of green trees and flowers on either side. At the end of the pathway is a yellow door. As you push the door open, you are greeted by an expanse of soothing light. The light envelops you and you feel warm and safe. You've entered your inner world, the place in which you can taste the nectar of your own consciousness. And here, I'll recite a verse from the Vedas. You are born from the sea of nectar. You were born to taste nectar. You must not allow yourselves to be satisfied with anything but nectar. Awaken, arise, and search only for nectar. Close the door to the outside world behind you and be fully present. Remain unattached from any thoughts. Observe them, but don't engage them. You are a dispassionate witness with no need or responsibility to react. Relax. Appreciate your own inner world and feel positively that you exist. Notice that you exist. Now direct your attention to your hands. Now put your attention on your legs. Now move your attention to your head. Notice that you're the one moving your attention. You're the one looking at these different aspects of your external body. But these aspects are not you. You are separate from the things you see. The seer and the seen are different. Feel that you are not your body. See your thoughts and feel that you are not your thoughts. Now become aware that your power to hear, to touch, to see, taste and smell, to pick things up, to walk, to speak, and to digest are all inexplicable powers given to you. Now become aware of your intelligence. Notice how your intelligence gives you directions like those from an unseen expert who is always with you and available, even when you sleep. The Yoga Sutras call this benevolent guide the super self. Please remain in this space and listen to a sacred text from the Bhagavad Gita and meditate on this text. The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all-pervading. Similarly, the spiritual essence situated in spiritual vision does not mix with the body, although situated in that body. Thus, knowing yourself to be transcendental, steady your mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence. And now bring your attention back to your breath. And now slowly open your eyes and bring your awareness back into the meeting. And welcome back. So this fourth dimension is mentioned throughout the Vedas as the place beyond the mind and senses where we can actually experience or taste the nectar of our own existence. And in a PDF handout that JM will give everybody today, I'll read a verse that describes the preliminary experience of the fourth dimension beyond the body, mind, and senses. This is from Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter again on meditation. In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. Established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he or she thinks there's no greater gain. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. There are various stages of experience in the process of meditation. And the practices I listed today are important because it's not that you can simply listen to the theory of this and then feel satisfied, although it may be intriguing. It may seem far off compared to the daily kind of habits that we have. So here are three that are highly recommended through the Shastra, and that these elements of practice. The first is called Swadhyaya, or the daily reading of wisdom texts. So these texts are wisdom. They're not knowledge, but they are knowledge, but the wisdom is condensed in a practical way to give us a perspective so that when we move around the world, we can actually be aware of who we are and why we're here. There's a story my teacher used to tell about a man sitting on the branch of a tree, and he was sawing it. However, he was on the outside of the tree branch, sawing the inside. And a passerby approached and yelled at him, "Look out, you're going to fall from the tree." And the man sawing yelled back at him, "Mind your own business." And the passerby kept walking. And a few minutes later, the man sawing cut through the branch and fell to the ground. And he got up looking for the man who had just passed by. And he said, I have to find this man. He must be a great astrologer to have told me what was going to happen in the future. So there are many ways in which our perspective may be limited, but the idea of these wisdom literatures, it's a voice of higher knowledge and wisdom that is speaking to us and giving us the wherewithal to organize ourselves in such a way that we can actually experience our higher self. We can work towards our highest potential. That's called Swadhyaya. And so I provided this PDF today of a couple of excerpts from the wisdom literatures. One is from one of the Upanishads called the Sri Ishopanishad, and that's on the PDF for you to look at. If you want to look at it on a daily basis, the characteristic of reading from Shastra is that you can read it over and over again. It never gets old. And it gives you new insight every day. So there are a couple excerpts, one of which I read already from the Bhagavad Gita, but you might want to test that practice out that Patanjali and other great yogis have recommended for keeping the mind in perspective. And then the next is mantra meditation. So mantra meditation is most highly recommended by Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras, because the mantra actually, as he puts it in his presentation of mantra, and we've talked about this in other classes we've had, there are various mantras that have different qualities. The mantra that he suggests is Om. It's 3 letters, A-U-M, and it's in Sanskrit, it becomes through the rules of combining vowels, it becomes O-M with a dot over the M, and it's pronounced Om, Aum. And so this mantra actually is an avatar. An avatar means one who comes from a higher level to a lower level in order to give us some kind of assistance. So the reason Patanjali says that it's especially important to use mantra is because we need help. And when we use the mantra, it brings the avatar, or it is the avatar that actually in sound descends and assists us through making a channel from this realm to the higher realm, or what is called in the Vedas as Turiya, or the 4th dimension, that dimension in which you can actually taste nectar, which according to the verse I read earlier, is the purpose of life, is actually to taste that higher level of happiness. So there are many kinds of impressions that our mind has, and there are many ways that we invite different sounds and visions into our consciousness all the time. And these create various churnings in our mind. But through the practice of mantra meditation, the mind starts to become organized. And one of the ancient teachers commenting on Patanjali says, if you take an iron ball and you put it into a hot fire, after a while, you won't be able to see the difference between that iron ball and the fire, because the ball will be transformed. So when you introduce the mantra to your mind and you practice what we just did in the beginning, and that is bringing your mind back to the mantra again and again, then it brings this kind of a spiritual influence to the mind, and the mind becomes transformed. And this is a point that Patanjali makes in his Yoga Sutras, is that our minds are becoming transformed by our sensual stimuli that are coming into, by the sensual stimuli that are coming in, and that those are various kinds of influences, and that they're disparate. But the mantra helps to consolidate and spiritual those into one point, and to help spiritualize the mind, and which makes it a channel to this 4th dimension. So this is a real practice, and it's something that can be done quite handily by even those who are moving about the world, engaged in all kinds of work and so forth. And Patanjali says that you don't have to have necessarily a huge amount of it, but you should take something of a little, at least a little bit every day, because even a small investment in that will help to balance out the way your mind works. So before I go to the last sections, and as usual, I'm chewing up the clock here. Let's just see what kind of reflections you have from the meditation, or if I've used a lot of technical terms and mentioned a few concepts here. So if you have any questions about those, or you want clarification on anything, then I think, JM, they can unmute themselves and just be part of the conversation. Is that correct?
Yes, they can unmute and just ask questions or type in the chat box, and I'll be able to read out.
Okay. I'm opening my chat box here to just check. And in the chat box, you can just say, hey, if you want. And similarly, if you want to unmute and say, hey, then that's all you have to do. But it brings us together more as a thinking, breathing community when you chime in. It doesn't have to be profound or anything like that. We want to hear your voices.
Nothing profound to say, just hello.
That's pretty profound. The fact that we can say hello to one another, this is profound. I mean, you're sitting somewhere else, and somehow or other there are energy waves coming through some kind of a matrix that I know not much about, and it's coming out to me, and I just felt a connection with you. So in another sense, who was it, Brian, who just said that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
Brian.
Yes.
Brian, it was profound, actually. And this is one of the points that is being made in the Shastra, again, the wisdom literature. And that is the sound vibration is very powerful. We can discern what's going on long distances away. And when we get the right kind of sound, and this is the whole thesis behind mantra meditation, when you take in a kind of sound that is inherently spiritual, and you bring that in, then you're able to discern a higher reality, or turiya. You're able to tap the fourth dimension. Beyond this world, the human experience actually is quite dramatic, in case you haven't noticed. We're vulnerable in the human form. And it's not that when we're involved in the mind and the senses that we find some kind of instant balance. You can try through psychology, you can try through drug therapy, all kinds of things. But the point the Shastra makes is you are inherently steady. But when you identify with the changing mind, and definitely with the changing body, then you start to feel out of balance, because you're not those things. You're actually another entity who's observing them. And that will take a few more hays, if you don't mind. Someone say hey.
So we have Joy on Zoom who is thanking for this event. He's happy with that.
Oh, thank you.
And we have Morgan on YouTube who is also thanking for the beautiful meditation introduction to the higher realms that we did earlier.
Great. Oh, great. I'm glad we're reaching out and we're connecting on YouTube.
Yes.
Any of you that are on Zoom, do you want to comment anything about how it went for you in the guided meditation? Any observation you had, good or bad? Subramanian, is that you checking in?
I'll go first. This was my first time, so I wasn't sure what to expect.
Okay, good to see you.
Thank you.
Would you like to make any comment?
Not yet. I'm not sure if I have a comment yet.
Okay. Well, it's nice to see you there. And was the meditation, did you find it easy to follow? the guided meditation?
I did, but somehow I felt that having to listen, and I guess this is part of the learning, the listening is drawing away from the attention, or rather having to focus on the listening as well as the breathing or just internal thinking. So I think there was a little bit of I wasn't able to fully, I guess, concentrate on the meditation because I had to keep listening to understand what to do. So over time, I'm hoping that becomes easy.
Sure. Yeah. And that's a nice observation. And it's important as we practice mindfulness, meditation, mantra meditation, if we take note of these things, and even if you keep a kind of a diary about your experience, it makes you more and more aware, and the practice becomes thicker.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for your comments, Mohit. Nice to see you.
Same.
Great to have you here. Here's one from please, Sri Lakshmi said, hello. Hello, Sri Lakshmi. Thank you for the insightful thoughts. How much does breathing exercises help? Breathing exercises help a lot. In fact, it's one of the main aspects of yoga is breathing, because when we inhale and exhale, all the cells in our bodies inhale and exhale at the same time, all the cells. And there's a way in which the mind can be controlled by breathing. And if we forget to breathe, or we're breathing off kilter, then that can also affect us as well. When we do mantra meditation, there's a kind of natural breath control that takes place when you're uttering the mantra. So that you can notice also. And then we have
Isling Campbell.
Okay.
And she's thanking for meditation and suggesting that she finds it hard to concentrate and wasn't able to visualize properly. But I'm sure it's something that can develop over time.
Oh yeah, this is a good point. Now, all the Shastra about meditation says that in the beginning it's very hard, because the mind is not cooperative just by nature. And it takes a sustained practice. Now, it doesn't mean that you just have to suffer through it for long periods of time, because what you'll notice is that when you practice every day, you'll get a little gift at the end. There's always some fruit when you try to concentrate your mind. And even a lot of our students, they note that when the mind's particularly unruly and says, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to concentrate, I just want to go wherever I want to go. But they calmly sit down, and then they do even the minimal amount that they're used to doing. For instance, let's just say 10 mantras. And they calm down, they start breathing at a regular rate, and then they bring their mind to the mantra and they say the mantra 10 times. And they have a deal with their mind that, okay, we're not going to be here for long, just 10 mantras. That's all I ask of you right now. And at the end of that, they feel like, oh, I'd like to do a little more, and so forth. So Gary's written, with Om meditation, should I also be saying Om out loud or just listen to the Om? Yes, saying it out loud is very helpful, because when you engage the vocal cords and the ears in listening, the mantra itself will resonate at a certain level that helps you to connect to that channel that we're looking for. In fact, it has a lot to do with, the Shastra says, with our chakras. Our chakras have certain vibrations, and the Omkar helps to bring us to the higher vibrational chakras that connect us to the fourth dimension. Here we have a Subramanian. Yes, there you are. There seems to be a bodily connection to meditation. I meditate very well at the beginning of the week, but towards the end of the week seems to be very difficult to control the mind. Well, isn't that just like the mind? And this is something that's noted by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, Patanjali, all the great acharyas, and that is the mind, it says, is very determined to go its own way. It's also what's called chanchala. So one of the descriptions of chanchala is like a little baby monkey, or any monkey, but baby monkeys are especially rambunctious. They jump here, there, and everywhere for no apparent reason except just to play around. And the mind is like that. And So it takes a little time, and there's no telling when the mind will be cooperative or not. Hence, there's a kind of discipline from counting your mantras and doing them every day, even when the mind doesn't want to cooperate. If you do it anyway, you'll start to notice that the mind becomes more supple and cooperative over time. And this really is how to control your environment. You have to control your environment from from within, and then it starts to adjust outwardly. And if the mind's not controlled, then it's our worst enemy. And it doesn't matter what we have externally. If we have the most fortunate setting externally, but our mind is disturbed, there's no appreciation, no gratitude for what we have. If we have the simplest environment, even frugal, and the mind is tasting satisfaction in and of itself, we feel satisfied. Finally, we have Solange, is it?
Solange Chigandia.
Yeah, it says, I was laid off this week and I'm looking for another job now. It is very stressful. What do you recommend me to, how to stay mindful and not fall into a spiral of anxiety and uncertainty? Well, one of the points that's made in the Shastra is that we're most often looking into the future. In fact, sciences like astrology, we want to look into the future. We try to figure out what the market's going to do, what's going to happen next. This is the question. Well, the answer comes that nothing's going to happen next because we're only ever always in the present. And yoga is for figuring out the present. And magically, when you figure out the present and you stay present, you can develop in such a way that, first of all, you're not watching the screen of your mind and on which are being shown scenarios of what might happen in the future, but you can't live in those. You can only live in the present. And also, when you're working in the present moment, you are preparing yourself for whatever's necessary for the future. So one of the modes of staying present is be in preparation mode. Ask yourself, what's the best use of my time right now? Now, we talked about that last week, as questions are the answers, right? So keep asking your mind this question, what's the best use of my time right now? And when you do that, then you calm down, because you can't live in the future, you can't do anything in the future, but you can do something right now. And when you do that, you'll feel that the anxiety will diminish. Okay, so you wanted to give some announcement, JM, about the 21-day fitness challenge. It's restarting, isn't that correct?
Yes, that's right. I can quickly bring it up on the screen.
Okay.
So we have it on our website, vaishikadas.com, and you can access that by navigating through the menus. Next Steps Spiritual Fitness Challenge, which describes what steps you can take on a daily basis to progress on the spiritual level, both body, mind, and spirit, all three aspects. And there is, of course, details. If you scroll down, you can see the details of each of those steps. And we do have both an online tracker as well as downloadable and printable tracker, which you can use to track it, all your activities on a daily basis as well.
This is what it looks like when you print it out.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's how it. I'm just accessing the online printable tracker. So this is how it looks on the printing, and you can do the same thing online as well. So we are starting that beginning today, and I've started submitting my scores as well. So yeah, please join and share your reflections as you make progress in this process.
So just as a reminder, what the body, mind, and spirit practices are, can we look at those really quickly?
Sure.
So these practices start with regulating sleep. We talked about that before. if you're careful about your sleep, and it's commonsensical wisdom that's going around these days anyway, if you want to improve your immune system, go to bed earlier. Don't stay up later than you need to, and try to get enough sleep. We also recommended and had a lot of discussion previously about when you get up before the sun, you're opening yourself to a lot of productivity, spiritually and otherwise. Eat healthy, non-processed, fresh. That has a huge effect on consciousness. And be grateful for whatever you get. If you say, a few words of gratitude for the food coming to you from our, from our source. The sun creates it all, different sun energy. It's really a gift. If you think of it that way, the eating process, according to the Ayurveda, becomes much more healthy. Then walk daily. Of course, if you're in a congested area these days, be really careful, wear a mask, and stay 6 feet away. Mind is wake up to an affirmation. We gave a list of those affirmations earlier, and JM can give them again if you need them, or you can create your own. But the first thing you do when you wake up is use an affirmation. It's one of the practices yogis do to connect their mind, body, and soul as soon as they're opening their eyes. Greet the day with a map. It's very practical for the mind. If the mind has a map to follow, just even if you put your 2 or 3 priorities down on paper that you're looking to complete that day, it'll help to move you in the right direction. Manage screen time. Be very deliberate. When you're going on the screen, don't just wander around, but if you have to go on, say, this is why I'm going. And spirit, do your mantra meditation. And we're going to have an extra session today for anyone who wants to stay. And we'll talk a little more about that. Just do some selfless service. I mentioned it in the elements of daily practice, this karma yoga. Dedicate some of your work, some of your income to a higher cause, and you'll notice that you grow spiritually when you do that. And keep a gratitude journal. Everybody says that, but it's really true. If you just say thank you to the things you're getting, even that we take for granted on a daily basis, it opens you up spiritually. So the spiritual fitness tracker has been really successful. People all over the world are filling it out, and we're getting a groundswell of response from people appreciating that, having these few simple little guidelines, and you don't have to fill them all out. Just be aware that it's there and do what you can. And if you check in on the website and let everybody know how you're doing, it makes for a nice community feeling. So we thank everybody for taking your valuable time to get on the Zoom today. And as usual, we have an extra session on mantra meditation to those who are interested and want to stay for the extra part. Otherwise, the main part of our program is over. And don't feel bad about dropping off and getting back to work. Thanks, Herb. Namaste. Good to see you. And Aisling Campbell, thanks very much. Hope you have a lovely weekend too.
Thank you.
Okay. If there are anybody wants to check in now that we're starting our mantra meditation session, if you want to check in with how your practice is going at home, any of you who are doing it on a regular basis, you can tell us. And if you have any questions or, something you want to bring up before we get started, you can do that too. Manu, how is your group doing?
Yeah, I think Josh is here and Prakash is here. So I think all of us gather up every day, Monday to Thursday, and then Friday, of course, with you. We are having our daily mantra meditation practice. And I think, Josh, do you want to add any comments?
Just that I appreciate them a lot, as well as I've been doing the meditations in the morning as well. And I shared a couple days ago that Vaishnavi had mentioned the fact that you could either be in time or transcending it, I've started to really try and make it so in the morning I'm focusing on the fact that during that time I'm kind of free from thinking about time and what's next. And it's only a couple minutes, but it's nice to approach it that way.
Yeah, thanks
you.
for bringing that up. Yeah, thanks for sharing your practice with us. It's one of the videos I made when I was in India recently, and it's something that's talked about in the Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Sutras, and other places, and that is that when we enter into that fourth dimension, we go beyond the time element, which is like being dragged down a river. And one of the symptoms of that is when you get into that zone, you are not counting so much. You're not thinking like, how many mantras am I doing and when is this going to stop? What am I going to get out of this? You're actually really just absorbed in the fact that you're doing it, and you may even forget about time altogether. Yeah, thank you very much, Josh. Excellent.
Yeah, I think the time and transcendence was the video, short video in your channel that we watched.
Okay.
I think after Josh reflected, I think it also helped me improve on that. And also, I would like to highlight 2 other videos, like the Wonders of Mantra 1 and Part 1 and Part 2. I think it definitely helped our group to, in our daily practice.
Great. So those are all there on Facebook and YouTube, Wonders of Mantra 1 and 2. And there I just pass on what I learned from my teachers and from the Shastra about how to perform mantra meditation. And we'll be continuing that series also to answer more questions about mantra. But it's if you're getting started with mantra meditation or you want to boost in your own mantra meditation, you can watch those videos and pick up any of the instructions that I'm passing down from my teachers. Thank you very much, Manu and Josh. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and if somebody wants to jump in your group and do it on a more regular basis, then I suppose they can get in touch with you, right?
Yes.
Okay. That really helps. The group thing really helps a lot. Okay, so what slides do you have for us today, JM, for mantra meditation?
Yeah, so we do have the introduction mantra as well as Maha Mantra, both of them.
Okay, we'll just bring some of them up, and I'll make a few comments about technique. One is that when we're meditating on the mantra is called Apurushaya. It's a sound vibration that comes from the fourth dimension, and it is an avatar. An avatar is someone who descends from a higher level to a lower level and gives us assistance. So the mantra itself is uplifting. It helps us in all ways. And it also creates a channel. When the avatar descends through the mantra, then we're able to go through that channel and follow the channel upwards into the fourth dimension. So there are different mantras, and the description in the Yoga Sutras is that when you begin to chant the mantra, be aware that you're placing the mantra into the mind. And then once you get the mantra into the mind, then place your mind into the mantra. So they become one. Now, you'll notice when you're practicing that there's a level of conversation going on in your mind called Madhyama Vak. Vak means speech. And it's a kind of speech that is mostly categorized as chatter. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just a lot of noise coming from our previous experiences and pulling us in different directions. So the objective of the chanter is to put the mantra into the mind and put the mind into the mantra and make them a cohesive one unit. And if you keep doing that repeatedly, then you'll find the kind of power of the mantra, because you'll become very much absorbed in it. in the vibration itself. Okay, so mantra meditation, the avatar descends through the name itself in the mantra. And what other slides do you have here? Okay, so this first mantra, Nitai Gauranga, I spelled it phonetically, but Nitai and Gauranga, these are the avatars of compassion. So they descend to open the heart very wide, to have compassion for all living beings and compassion for our own selves. So when you say this mantra, you'll find that the flow of this compassion entering into your heart and mind, and just be with the mantra. And then we'll graduate to the next mantra in just a few minutes after we chant this one. So one of the ways that most of you know is to count the mantras on your hand. There are these little spaces in between each finger, and they make a nice counting place. You can use your thumb to count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you're counting multiples of 10 mantras, then you start over here again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You don't need any extra paraphernalia. If you have a hand, you can just use that. And then this is called Sankhya Purvaka. Counting your mantras is one of the disciplines so that you can keep steady in the chanting and count how many you do and stay at a minimum every day. So let's do Nitai Gauranga together for 10 times. And I think I'm going to put, did that flute music come out okay over the speaker?
Yeah, it came out very nicely, actually.
I'm going to put on another one and just see how that goes. And we'll do Nitai Gauranga.
Battery 80%. Connected to iPhone.
Okay, let's do 20 Nitai Gaurangas now. Please sit up straight and remember, put the mantra in your mind and put your mind into the mantra, and let all other conversation and chatter go somewhere else, but you are in control of your attention and bring it to the mantra. Nitai Gauranga, 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 Nitai Gauranga. And now just sit and notice how you place the mantra in your mind and your mind in the mantra. And now let's go to the next mantra. And this mantra has 3 words, Hare, Krishna, and Rama. So Krishna is the avatar of love. Hare, the avatar of motherly nurturing, become nurtured by Hare. And Rama, the avatar of unrestricted happiness. And the mantra goes like this: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And because it's a very balanced mantra, in other words, it has 16 words, 32 syllables. it's very symmetrical. So I'm going to put on something that's a little more rhythmic. If you'll wait 1 second. So now let's sit up a little straighter and invite the avatar of this mantra to descend, to open the channel to the 4th dimension. And we'll chant this 20 times. I'm just slowing it down a little bit. Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So now we'll just check in with everybody. How did it go for you putting the mantra in your mind and your mind then into the mantra? Anybody want to report?
I think the first mantra it went fine, but in the second mantra, my mind kept running.
Your mind was running away from you?
Yes.
Did you bring it back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could bring it back many times.
Yes, and if you find that it's going well with the Nitai Gauranga, we're only doing this 20 times, but find a minimum and then experiment at home with your home practice for doing it as many times as you like. You can definitely go over. And if you're feeling the flow of the mantra, then just stay with it, because you'll discover things that are below the surface that you never knew were there. And those are the gifts that you're going to get from your mantra meditation practice that will systemically affect you throughout the rest of your life. You'll notice it in all different aspects of your life. Any other who else would like to give any report? Was it okay, easy to follow, or was it just
Yes.
any aesthetics? Yes, please.
So this is the first time I do a mantra meditation, and at first I was reading the words, but then I feel like I wanted to close my eyes, and without noticing, I realized the algorithm between the words, how they repeat themselves, and I felt very focused on it. I didn't feel like my mind ran away. I was able to focus on it.
Nice.
And it felt really good, like it really eased up my anxiety that I was having before, but it feels much better now.
Yeah, I like your use of the terminology algorithm, because it is an algorithm, really. It's a transcendental algorithm, and that's the mind thrives on these kinds of algorithms. It runs on algorithms, and when it's chaotic, then when the mind is chaotic, then it becomes disturbed. It's basically jumping from one thing to the next, thinking about the future or the past. But in the present, if it can be fixed on a single point, and this is what Patanjali starts off with, that the vrittis, they become still. These are the churnings of the mind, and you become fixed. You start to feel serene and actually taste that nectar we're talking about, because our self is beyond the mind, and it's beyond the churnings of the mind. And you can experiencing that by taking help of the mantra, which is that algorithm that it calms the mind down. It's like a snake charmer. The mind's going here and there, but the mantra calms it down. So you could take shelter of that. Thanks for the report. Good to see you, and thanks for joining us. Anyone else would report in? Yes?
We have a question on Zoom. What's the meaning of the mantra, and where can we find it?
We'll put it right here in the chat box, or
Yes.
you can take it home with you. The meaning of the mantra, it comes, the second mantra comes from the Kali Santarana Upanishad. Actually, it even predates that, but these ancient literatures, these shastras called the Upanishads, are very serious spiritual teachings that date back thousands of years. They're written in Sanskrit. And the Kali Santarana Upanishad gives this whole mantra, the 16-word, 32-syllable mantra. It says, Iti Soda Shakam Namna Kali Kalmasha Nashanam. It says that this mantra destroys all anxiety and all obstacles in this present age that we're in, that has a lot of obstacles. And the meaning is, the mantra itself is a list of names, actually. Hare, Krishna, and Rama. These are avatars that descend, that open the channel to the fourth dimension, to the spiritual dimension. And so it's naming them. And Krishna is the avatar, the one who descends to reacquaint us with love. The Hare is the motherly affection multiplied like 1 billion times. And that's it's the avatar of nurturing, the female energy. And Rama, the avatar of unrestricted happiness. It's hard to imagine in this world, because happiness really here is just avoiding distress for a few minutes. So there is a realm where it's described that happiness expands like a beam of light, that theoretically, if you're shining a beam of light into the sky, it's always expanding forever. So that kind of happiness is unimaginable to the present mind that is caught in the matrix of time. And when we say these, the names of these avatars together, they actually descend, they make this channel, and they assist us in rising up into that channel of the higher spiritual energy. And Nitai Gauranga is, these are the two avatars that descend together. They're said to be like the sun and the moon rising at the same time to give us light, and especially the light of compassion, which is an emotion that is actually overwhelmingly satisfying when we have compassion. It's a very enlightened condition. JM, you were going to say something else.
No, I was just, there's one more question from Gary on chat. Is having music while meditating okay? I thought meditation was done in silence.
With the mantra meditation, you can. I think that the cadence of this was a little off. That's why I shut off the tabla. It was just kind of spontaneous that I put it on. You can try it with some music and see how it helps you to concentrate on the mantra. By nature, mantra is a sonic meditation, because the Vedas or the Shastras say that sound is the most subtle element. And it is the element that says, it's said in Shastra, anavriti shabdat. So shabdat means sound, and anavriti means to uncover something. So it says we become uncovered by sound. So besides this kind of use of mantra meditation that we're doing here, there's another way in which the mantra is used, and it's sung to music, to rhythm. And it's done in different rhythmic patterns, but it's the same mantra, different melodies and so forth. Many of these traditionally are called the ragas. And so the raga in Indic music is really meant to evoke a certain kind of emotion, because rhythm and music are the universal language. You don't have to speak a local language to know you like a rhythm. I was walking once in India in this village, and there were a whole group of people had gotten together in the village, and they had this jam session going with their rhythmic instruments, and they were chanting. And I was on a long trek that day walking, but I couldn't pass there because the rhythm caught me, and I had to sit down. I sat for a couple hours, it drew me in. So you can imagine what power the mantra will have when you get the rhythm and the melody together in such a way that when you add the mantra, it goes much deeper into your mind and into your heart. So there are these two ways in which mantras are practiced. And you could do the mantra meditation, the individual japa, it's called, silently, or you can try it with a little music in the background, but especially if it's music that's sattvic, it's in a higher realm. It's not really passionate and pulling your attention away with lyrics and all that kind of stuff, but a little background doesn't hurt. Okay. Well, we're at 1:08 right now, which is an auspicious number to end on. Thank you, JM, for doing all the production behind the scenes, getting everything ready. We really appreciate you being there so we can have our discussions and go on with the meditation. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And I really felt great being with you today. And we'll look forward to connecting up with you next week. So please remember, keep the transcendental vibration going, stay absorbed in selfless service, and remember, where attention goes, energy flows. Thank you very much. And we'll see you next time, hopefully very soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
I'm also
everybody.
feeling.
Okay, Prakash.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Thank you.
I'm also feeling deeply grateful, like everyone, and to you, Mantras, and to JM. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakash.